Paulette from Tulip Square, and this week I'm going to do something a little different. I don't know if many of you know this or not, but we do a lot of felt applique patterns as well as quilt patterns. So this week I thought I would try and show you how to make this cute little pumpkin mat. This is to put a candle in the middle or one of those wax warmers that sits right in the middle. It kind of protects your table and it looks cute. So it's a cute little pumpkin one for the fall, and I'm going to show you how to make this. So we're going to head over to the, well, we're not using the sewing machine, so we're going to head over to my embroidery area and we're going to make this. Let's go. Okay, to get started on this pumpkin mat, first of all, I printed out this page just for reference, but you can also look at it on your iPad or your phone or whatever you want if you prefer. And I cut out all of the freezer paper pattern pieces in just little rough chunks so I can start ironing them onto the felt. So that is what I'm going to do first. I'm going to iron, I'm going to sort them all out and figure out which colors I want on which felt. Okay, so I've just got an assortment of the leaves on each of these 3 pieces of felt, and then I'm just going to hit them with the iron, and this is set on wool, a little bit warmer than wool. No steam, just dry iron. And that's about all it takes. Just a couple seconds. Okay, now that I've got everything ironed onto the right color of felt that I want, then I'm just going to carefully cut each piece out. And when you cut them out, use nice sharp scissors, then you get nice clean edges. And I'm just cutting it out like so. And I like to leave the paper pieces on until I'm ready to use them. Otherwise, it's hard to keep them straight which pieces they are, especially when they're odd little pumpkin shapes. So I'm going to go ahead and cut them all out, and I'm just going to put them in little piles to keep them organized. Okay, now that we've got everything all cut out and I've got things in little piles so I know what I'm doing, we're going to start with pumpkin number 1, which is the tall, skinny-ish one. And I've got the 3 pieces for it and its little topper thing, and that's what we need right now. Is just those. To take off the paper, the easiest way to do it is just take any edge and fold it toward the paper. When you fold it toward the paper folds and the felt doesn't, and it just peels off. If you fold it towards the felt, nothing happens. Everything just bends. But as soon as you fold it towards the paper will crease, and then you pull the pieces off. Also, the freezer paper does not leave any residue or anything on the felt, so you can actually use either side. So if you want some of your pumpkins a little bit different, you can do that. You can just use, doesn't matter which side you're using, and I'm not even keeping track once I take it off. So what we're going to do is, this is how this pumpkin is going to go. I've got this so it's a little bit lower than this piece at the bottom, a little bit lower than the bottom piece. You can see how it just hangs down just a tiny bit. First, we're going to take orange floss, and I'm just going to do simple running stitch, just plain old stitching right around the edge. Keep it as close to this edge as possible, and I'll show you what I'm going to do there. Okay, I've got a little knot on the back side, and I'm using orange thread that's darker than all of the orange felt pieces, and I'm just going through both of these layers. I'm just going to do little stitches. Now you can do other kinds of stitches. You might want to do a buttonhole stitch along here, or a zigzaggy stitch kind of a thing. You might want to do your running stitches this way instead, and I might do that on some of the pumpkins, but for now I'm just doing this. All right, I got that pumpkin stitched all the way down, and then I'm going to take this next layer, put it right about where I want it, and I want this one to be a little lower on the bottom than the first one. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to sew around the edges just like I did before, but this time I'm going to use a slightly bigger stitch just for variety. Not a really huge one, but like so. And I'm going to go all the way around the edge with this. There, I've gotten to the end of this pumpkin, so I'm just going to turn it over, knot the thread, and cut it off. I'm going to use a green floss, 3 strands, that shows up on this green. I think how I'm going to do this is I'm going to do back stitching from the center here down to each point. So I'm going to start right about here. Back stitching is similar to plain old running thread stitch, except you're going to go back in at the end of the stitch you just did. So there's no gap between them. Come out a little bit further ahead. Go back in at the end of the stitch you just did. And one more should do it. Then I can just pop right down here to this next end. Do the same thing. Oops, don't pull too tight. Gonna go right back up to that same starting point. So there's two. Now I'm just gonna do these other two. There, you got your first little pumpkin done. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do the other two pumpkins of this kind the same way. So now I've got my 3 taller pumpkins done, and I'm going to do the big fat pumpkin. And this has 4 layers. It's got 1 and then 2, which goes a little bit lower on the back. You can see just a little bit on the back. And then this egg-shaped one goes next. And then this little orange thing. I guess they're all little orange things. And each one just goes a little bit lower than the previous one. And then this will go right up here. I think I'm going to try back stitching around this first layer and see how I like that. And I'm using a lighter thread this time, a slightly lighter thread. So we're going to start here, and let's see if we like what back stitching looks like on here. Back stitching is where you just do, same as we did on the stem of the last pumpkin. Go back in the hole you just came out of. This takes about twice as much thread, and it's a little bit longer because you have no gaps. Now, since I know this piece is going to go on top, I'm not going to waste my time doing nice little neat stitches right under there. I'm just going to kind of slide over here. Making sure that it's only where this piece goes, yeah. And then I'll start making my little stitches again. Okay, I like that. It kind of makes it even a little bit puffy, which is good. It's pumpkin. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing on this piece. I'm just going to do the back stitching all the way around this piece. I've got that layer done, and I think I like that look, so we're going to go all the way along and do the 4th layer with that as well. Okay, we've got that part of the pumpkin done. Now for his stem thing, I put it a little lower on, kind of like that. And I'm going to use a darker green this time. So I'll just go ahead and do some little straight stitches on each one of these little leafy things. Be right back. Yeah, I like how that looks. And I will go ahead and finish the other 2 of the same size, and then we will work on the little pumpkins. Okay, I've got my 3 little pumpkins done, which you can see are done pretty much the same as the first ones. I've got these 3 done, and I've got these 3 tall ones done. So now, if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and cut out your 10-inch circle. So I'm using a real light, kind of a aqua color, like a light bluish aqua. I've cut out my circle, and now I'm going to back this up a little bit so we can show you what we're doing next. Okay, there's the circle. Now, if you follow the diagram in the pattern, you can, there's a full-size template you can cut out if you want to copy it exactly, but I'm just going to kind of eyeball it up and put them kind of where I want them. So I'm just going to put these 2 right here, and and then we got one over here, and don't go too close to the edge. Then we got one over here, and then I'm going to put a big one over here and a tall one up here. So now I'm going to pin these down right where they are. Just one pin in each to kind of give it its location. I like these flat-headed pins, these because they don't seem to catch your thread as much as some of the other pins do. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch down on the outside edge of each pumpkin using one of the two oranges, and it doesn't have to be the same orange that I used on the pumpkin. Okay, we're going to start with this guy right here. So what I'm going to do is just do running stitches on the bottom layer of the pumpkin, and I can move that little green thing over a little bit. We're just getting the pumpkin attached to the back mat. Now I've done part of the pumpkin up to here where I get to the other parts of the pumpkin, so there's no bottom of that pumpkin to do. So what I'm going to do is just flip this over, and I'm just going to run a big stitch through some of those layers, just like this, so that it's holding this part of the pumpkin down to the mat, but you can see it's under there. So I'm just going to do one more stitch like that on the parts that aren't going to be stitched in place. Just going to do the same thing right here. Like so. That will bring my thread up over to here, and then I'll finish sewing this pumpkin piece down right here. There, that pumpkin is all stitched down. And I'm just going to go around the whole thing and sew each pumpkin down like that. Okay, we've got all the pumpkins put where they need to go. And now all that's left to do is place all the leaves. Now you can follow the diagram if you want. Let me get the diagram over there. You can follow this if you want, or you can just place them randomly all around the pumpkins. You know, it doesn't really matter. But there is a full-size diagram. If you want to print it out and cut it out, you can, and put them right where they go, but they're just leaves. So I'm just going to scatter them around and pin them down. See, I've got different colors of the same shapes. I just cut them out. No rhyme or reason, just cutting. It's a lot of leaves. I don't know if I'll use all these leaves. But I think I like that arrangement. So I'm going to just pin each one down, I guess. All right, I'm going to start with this leaf right here. And I'm just using a green that's just a little bit darker. And I'm going to just do a back stitch, I think. And I'm just going to go kind of down each one of these 5 little parts of the leaf. That should be enough for that leaf. And then what I'm going to do is coming out the top of that leaf where it would have been connected to the tree where the stem is, I'm going to just do a little bit of back stitching right there too. Actually, I'm doing an outline stitch here just to make it a little bit thicker. So I'm just going to start here. This is going to be just a little running stitch, and I'm going to assume that this was the stem end, so I'm just going to do a running stitch twice, just so it's a little bit thicker. Just like that. And then just going to do some little straight stitches on here. Leave that up so it comes up a little bit like that. And I think that's all I need on that leaf. Okay, for this little maybe oak looking leaf, I'm just going to start with a little stem for it. I'm going to do a thing up the middle, a big back stitch, I think. And now I'm just going to put a couple stitches in here like this. And that little leaf is done. So, okay, I've got all my leaves stitched down. And you can see I just used some back stitch, some straight stitching, nothing fancy. And I varied the color of thread that I used on the leaves. Nice autumn look to it, don't you think? So now all that's left is to take your bigger felt circle, the 10.5-inch circle, and center this thing on it. And since they're both cut out by hand, they're not going to be perfect, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to pin it down. And then I'm going to stitch around the edge, close to this edge, to tack it onto the background circle. And the reason for the second ring or second circle is twofold. One, it gives a second layer of protection to your table so that you've got 2 layers of stuff between your table and the heat source that's going to be sitting here. And secondly, it covers up all this stuff so none of that shows. And I'm just going to do a buttonhole stitch around this outside edge. Just like this, just like that. So you go in here, about 1/4 of an inch away from the previous stitch, leave a little loop, come out just past the edge of this, of the first ring, go through that loop, and pull. Keep doing the same thing. About 1/4 of an inch away. Leave a little bit of a loop. Come through right past the edge of the inside circle, right through that loop, and pull. And see, that's what you're going to get. And you could also just do a running stitch around the edge. That looks cute too. Any kind of a simple little border stitch looks fine. So I'm just going to do that all the way around the edge, and I'll show you when it's done. And here it is, it's all finished. I've got the whole edge stitched down. You can see how it looks. It's kind of fun to do. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. And here are a couple other ones that I just recently finished. If you're looking for some other subjects, I've got snowmen, and I've got flowers, and I'll be adding new ones every single month, so you can watch for them. They'll all be on our website at tulipsquare.com. Okay, so now you've seen how I make one of these, and they are pretty easy to make. They go pretty quickly. You can probably make one in maybe 2 evenings. And you might notice that this one does not look quite like the one that I showed you in the video, which looks more like this. But when I showed the finished one to Tess, my daughter, who was the other half of Tulip Square, she liked it so much she took it home. And I hadn't finished the video, so I made another one quick. And it kind of is interesting so you can see how different it looks just by changing the background color. Otherwise, pretty much everything is the same. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you wouldn't mind, this is a good day, huh? If you wouldn't mind, let us know in the comments below if you would like to see some different things once in a while, like an applique pattern or something, or would you rather we just stick straight to quilt patterns, because we like to know these things so we can give you guys what you want. So I hope you enjoyed this little video, and if you did, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the little notify bell so you can be notified when we put up a new video, which is every other Saturday. And it was a link for this pattern will be right up here if you were interested in getting it. Okay, have a good week, everybody. Bye-bye.